And also during the 1920s, we're going to have another big case that's going to happen involving two men, Sacco and Vanzetti. Now, when this trial takes place, originally it starts with in 1920, there was the murder of two men in Massachusetts. And then as we get later into the decade of the 20s, there's going to be two other men, Nicola Sacco and Bartolome Vanzetti, that were Italian immigrants and anarchists who are going to end up being put on trial for this murder. Now, there wasn't really much evidence against Sacco or Vanzetti to really hold them accountable for these murders, but nevertheless, when the trial takes place, they are going to be found guilty for these murders. Now, there was a lot of public outcry about this. A lot of people felt that they were not guilty, but nevertheless, the jury finds them guilty. And then before the end of the decade, both men are going to be sentenced to death and killed via the electric chair. Now, when this happens, this sort of shows a lot of the anti-anarchist sentiment that was happening in the country, as well as anti-immigrant sentiment that was happening. So we can see also with this trial, sort of this idea of the reactionary 20s that was taking place, pushing back against this newness that was happening in the 20s and wanting to have things be traditional the way they were sort of before all these new things were happening during this decade. Now, as far as the notes go, hopefully y'all got all of that stuff written down from part 1 and part 2 of the reactionary 20s. So you should have that in your notebook. And then once you've got all that stuff written down, you should take a picture of your notes and then send me either an email or do a Google Meet so that way you can show me the notes in your notebook.